Hello, this is Christian here. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the built-in array functions in PHP. We'll look at how you can use a function to fill an array with some default values, how to sort an array in ascending or descending order, how you can merge two arrays into one array, very efficient, and also how you can add elements to the front and the back of the array, also how you remove arrays, how you can remove elements from the front or the back of an array. Then we'll also learn how to get all the keys in the array if that's something that you're interested in doing. And you can also check to see if an element exists in the array. So let's go into the code and see some of these examples. Well, first of all, before we go into do some demo, I want to point out this site here for you to look at, because in PHP, their documentation at this site at php.net, they have a lot of documentations to help you out, especially functions. And if you look at the array functions, you can see that there's like hundreds of arrays functions here, not just arrays itself, but strings and any others as well. So over 1,000 functions built into PHP, and some of these are very helpful. And so we run into a certain situation. I mean, don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. All right. Okay, so here in the IDE, I'm going to create a new file. And I'll just call this one here array function. Okay, so the first one we want to test is the fill array. This is very handy when you want to build an array really quickly so you can test it. So this is the array fill. I should call it array fill. This is the function. So what you do is basically you create an array, call it data is equal to and then array fill. What are you filling with? So the fill, as you can see here, you have to use so you can specify the starting point, the starting index you want to fill with, and this only applies to indexed array, by the way. So you can start from 0. This is default. You don't have to start from 0. You can start from any number you want, any negative number too. That works fine too. So let's just say from 0. And then the next element here is the number of items, how many numbers or how many elements you want. So if you want 10, you put a 10 there, and this is the actual value you want to fill. So you cannot put different values at random. It won't work. It's just one value at a time. So if you want to put like 0 all the way out, then you do that. And then now, if I were to go ahead and dump this out into the console, so we can see what it looks like, save this and go to the terminal here. And let me cd into the module 6. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the file array, and you see that it prints the data for me here. It assigns all the values from index 0 through 9, because I'm starting from 0. So this is very useful if you want to fill something really quickly for you to use. Okay, so the next one I want to look at is sorting. Sorting is very popularly featured in array, especially when you have tons of data, you want to sort them, and you can use this in many scenarios. Sorting by price, by their last name, first name, sort by location, whatever, right? So this is very handy. So let's put here the array sort. Sorting has a couple of features, and you want to be careful with this one. Let me turn this off. So sorting here, ascending order. Okay, so the sort function I'll put here using this sort. This is for ascending order by default. So if I have an array, data is, this is what number here, so 1, 4, 2, 10, and 5. Okay, so that was sorted for me. Again, if I put sort, when you sort it, it's going to return true if it's successful. If it's not, then you get a false. So all you do is you say sort, and you just pass the function or the data to it, the array to it, and that's it. So it's going to alter the array, and then you see the little @ symbol here, ampersand symbol. This is like you're sorting the reference of the array. That means the actual data will be altered. And then when I do a print r data, I'll do one before and after. You can see the difference, the sorted and unsorted. So before I sort, I print, and then after sort, I print. So here we go. Save this in the terminal down here. Go and then do that. So you can see here, this is the unsorted version, and this is the sorted version down here. Okay, so in ascending order. Now if you want to do the descending order, then you basically just put this, instead of sort, you put rsort. R means reverse sort. That's all. So if I save that and run this, well, let's clear the screen first and then run it. Okay, so here we go. This is the default, and I sorted in descending order, so from largest to smallest. So that's pretty good. Now it gets tricky when you deal with strings. So let's say that if I have these as strings, let me mark this as strings. Okay, so I'm sorting an I'm just going to go back to the regular sorting here. So ascending order. Clear my screen and print. As you can see, it works just like before, right? Nothing changes, it works fine. Now it gets tricky when we include characters in there as well. So let's just say I put a here and an A here, and then maybe I'll change this to like 2A, and then here we'll put or 2A here, 2B here, and then I put here 10C. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. If I save this and sort down here. Okay, so you see the sorting is a little bit whack here, right? It looks weird because the actual number, as you can see, that's what you see, 1A. This is just exact output of that one there. But when you sort it, you see that 10A comes first, and then 10C, and then 1A, and then 2B, and so on. So it looks weird. Okay, but it's not a natural sorting system, normal sorting. And what it does is it will count the first character, right? First character, and then the second character, first character, and then you go to the next character. So the ones, oh, this is, so I have 3 ones to compete with. What about the next character? Well, the next character is a 0. This is an A, but this is a 0. And by the ASCII code, it says 0 comes before A. Okay, so therefore A lost its place, so it looks 0. Oh, there are 2 zeros. Okay, after this, what's next? Well, it looks like you have to compare the A and the C. Okay, A comes first, so this becomes first, and then this is next, and then now you're done, then you go back to 1A. So this gets printed next, and then the 2, and you compare the letters and so on. So that's what we get this sorting. This is called the regular sorting. What you want to do is, in this situation, you want to use something called a natural sort, and PHP provides that for you beautifully, so saves you a lot of work. Otherwise you have to do this in a different way. Okay, so to sort this the way we visually see it, think the way we see it, is to use what's called a natsort or natural sort. Okay, so if I do a natsort instead of just regular sort, you'll see that now if I run it again, my array is sorted exactly how you expect. 1A should come first, and then 2A, 2B, and then 10A, 10C. Okay, so this is very important when you deal with these numbers in this situation. In some languages besides PHP, it doesn't have to be characters. Like maybe in Java or even like in Visual Basic, when you sort just numbers, it's gonna sort numbers very differently because it's sorted by ASCII table, so it's very different. But PHP is quite friendly. All right, so this is the sort and reverse and then natural sorting. The next one is you want to merge arrays. So let's just say I have these 2 arrays. I'm going to use this same one I have here, the one on the top. This one here, I'll call this data, and this is data 2. I'll call this data 1 and data 2. All right. So then I want to sort those 2 together. I want to merge them together. And what you can do is you basically merge into a new array. So you can say new data is equal to, and then you merge the 2 arrays together, and you get a new array. So you say merge, array merge. I'm merging the data 1 and data 2. And then now if I print new data, I should get the result of the 2 merged arrays in here. Save this and clear my console, and then run. So here you go, you see that my new array has been merged, and I have the data, which is the default zeros from up here, because I fill with all zeros, right? And then now the new data here, part 2, is from here to the rest of the array. So merging is very, very efficient and very fast. If you don't have this function built in, you have to manually, loop through the array here, 1 to n, and 10 in this case, and then add that to the new element here, and then loop to this one here, add them all together. So it saves you some line of code. Pretty cool. Now the next thing is, what if you want to add some data to the current array? Okay, so let me just do this. Let me comment these out, and I'll use this array. Well, let's create a new one down here. Data 1, or just put data, well, 3 now. Array, I just put some numbers in here. Let's say 10, 20, 30. Okay, so as you can see, when you add data to the array, I can add in between, or to replace it, or something, right? How do you always add it to the end of the array? And to do that, you would use what's called the push and the pop. Well, the push is to add to the end of the list. In the array, this is the front, and this is the back. Okay, or the top, this is the bottom. Whatever is on the left side is the bottom. On the right side is the top. So then, if you want to add an array to the end of that, because you don't know what that last element is, the index, right? Now I can visually see it's index 0, 1, 2. So to add the last one, I'll use index of 3. So data 3 will add that for me, right? So I'll just print that out first. And save this. So down here, you see that it has index 0, 1, 2. And if you put, data of 3, then you get, let's just say put 40 here, and you get a new element. If I run this again, you see that the 3 has been, well, I didn't put a 3. Did I do nothing? Oh, I didn't put data 3. Should be data 3. Okay. So you see that the index of 3 is replaced with the word 40. What if I put, index 13, right? What I put 13, and if I run it again, you see that the last one is index 13. Okay, in between, I don't know. What if you want to put to the end of the list all the time? So that's when you have the push comes into play. So now I'll do something like push. Okay, so you can say the current array is data 3, so I want to say array push. I'm pushing into the array called data 3. And push what? The new value or values. You can put more than one values if you want. It's a mix of numbers, items. It doesn't be numbers. It can be anything, right? So you're going to put a new number, let's just say 50. And if you only add one element, and that's all you have to do. If you want to add more, you just put a comma and then add more data to it. Okay, so let's save this and again run the command down here. You can see that it knows that the last index was 13, so therefore the next one will be 14, and it pushes to the top of the array. But again, if you see between 2, 3, and 12, it's not visible. It's not existing. It doesn't know that, right? It doesn't care. All it does is it look at the last index number, the largest index number, and pushes 1 to the top of the index. Now if I do again, if you put 60, 90, and 100, I'm pushing 3 more to the array. So I'm expecting to grow 3 more, so I'm going to get to 17. Okay, so, or 16, right? 15, 16, because 14 was the largest one. So it keeps adding to the list here. Okay, so if you want to pop the last item, then you will use the pop. So now I'll leave that as is. Well, I'm gonna remove that. I'll leave that as is. Okay, and after that, I'm gonna pop the 100 back away. So I can do like array pop, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not passing anything to it because pop always pop the last item from the array. Well, I need to know which array is it, right? So you can put the array in here, and it will pop the array. So the index is from the data 3, and if I do that and I print it again, you'll see that the last item should have been removed. from the list. So if you go again, clear my screen, run it. Okay, so you see that the first part, it adds or pushes these three here to the list, and then I pop off the last one 100, and now the new array shows that the 100 is now gone. Okay, so so you can move this to a new location. Probably can't move it. Yeah, I move to right. Okay, so it's on the right side. It's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so here we go. We got that one there, and so that's for. I can close this over here. Okay, so that's for push and pop. You push to the end of the list. You pop the last one out of the list. So this is like the stack. If you're familiar with the stack and queues, right? So the next thing is, how do you add to the beginning of the array, right? If you don't know what the front is, how do you add it? Of course, if you see it, you can say, okay, well, the 0 is there, so I move to the -1 or something like that, right? But instead of doing that, let's add something here. I'm going to go ahead and then turn all these off. And then I'm just going to print the original array, and then I'll push something to the front of the array, and that is by using the array on shift. It's called on shift. I'm adding to the end of the array. Okay, so here you could do very similar to the push, except it's called on shift. So again, we'll be like on shift. Array of shift on shift, and then what array is it? It's the array called data3. And what are the data I'm pushing to the front is any number. So let's up 100, and then I'll push two numbers and 200. Okay, to the front of the array, and print it out as you see at the bottom here. So save that over here, clear my screen, and then run it again. And here we go. As you can see, it starts from 0, 1, 2, and 1, 2. I'm pushing two array elements to the front, so it shifts everything outward, and it replaces the 1, 0, and 1 with the two new values I added to the front. Okay, so very, very cool. Now, how do you move this from the top, from the bottom of the array? And that is by using the array shift. So array, I'm shifting one item only from the array called data3. That's all I'm doing, and only allows one item. So I will print the data. You see that the 100 should be removed from that after I run this array, this code. Okay, so here you go. This is the original. I added or unshifted two elements there, and then I removed the bottom one, the first element, and then now everything reshifts, everything reorganized back to 200. So that's for pushing and popping and shifting, unshifting elements to the array. Now, one more you want to check is, we already learned this before, is the array keys. Okay, how do you get the keys of an array? And that is by doing something like the following. And let me just kind of comment everything out here so we don't have any information to display. I'm going to go down here and give you some space down here. Okay, so I'm going to start fresh. So data is, you have a key here. A is to 10, and then B is to 20, and C is to 30. Okay, so the keys are A, B, and C. Values are 10, 20, and 30s. Okay, so we know that if you do the for each loop, say data as K, B. And then I know the keys because the keys are the K. So if I put echo key, I get the key. So if I put a space here, so I can see. Okay, if I run my file, you see that my keys are A, B, and C, right? So I can do that, and I can, save this to another array and use that and do something with it. Another way, a quick way, is to get the keys just by doing something like this. So I can say keys equal to array keys, and get all the keys from this array called data, and that's it. And then now I can print all the keys out from this variable called key. And that's it. So let's see, clear my screen. And then you can see that I get all my keys, right, at the index as an array, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so now I can use this to do something else, reference another array, or print it out and things like that. So very handy in that case. Now, the last one here I want to show you is how you can check to see if a data or a variable or value is in the array. Okay, so like this data here, how do I know if 20 is in there? Well, how do you do the hard way? The hard way is what? You can say, you can do like for I 0, right? I less than the count of the array data. And then you compare each of those data value, right? So you can say, put a variable here, found is equal to false at first, and you can say if the data of I, okay, is equal to 20, then found is true. Something like this. So found is true, and I can break from the loop. And then how do you know it? Okay, so down here I can say if found, then echo yes. Okay, else no. Right? So if I save this, clear my screen and run it, you see that it has some errors. Let's see if data is 20. What I do here? As line 47 has an error. Offset 0. Okay, I don't have 0. Yeah, I don't have 0. Okay, these are not. Yeah, these are not. Let's do it again because this is not a index array. Sorry. And we'll call it data. I'll create a new one. Okay, let's just turn all these off here. Put data down here. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so now it should be true because I have 20 in there, right? And then let's clear the screen again, refresh it, load, and you see that it returns yes because 20 does exist in there. If I change it to 22, then I'm going to get a no because it doesn't exist in the array, right? So this is the way you would do it normally. You do a loop and do that way. And PHP again, very friendly, so give you another way to do it. So I can do all this, turn all these off, and just say, you can do something like this, found equals, and you can say in array. As you can see, the data there, right? Array, and then what I'm looking for a 20 and the array called data. Okay, if that is true, then it's gonna return true. Otherwise, it's false. In this case, I'm looking for 20. I don't have 20, so I'm expecting to be false. So I'm gonna clear my screen and run it again. So you see it returns no as a false. If I put 22 here, matches what I have in there. Let's save that and run it again. It should return yes. So you can see now I have yes. So very, very fast. I don't know how fast it is, but yeah, it's pretty fast. And so it's very convenient, saves you, this many lines of code or more or less. But still, it's built into the function, into the program. So just use it, and very friendly, especially if you have a long list of items if you want to check it. So that is a list of some of the common functions built into PHP, especially that deals with arrays. And again, if you want to learn more, just go to the website and explore all of them. Those are very useful. There are many more. You can splice arrays. I didn't show you how to insert a data between, here, insert and slot. It would unshift or reshift everything that you would use the slice and the splice and all those other functions built into an array. So very, very cool stuff. All right. So I hope this one is helpful. And again, feel free to explore the documentation.